No, you didn't think you'd see this, would you? A second episode of a career mode on my channel from him. From him! Speaking of him, that mug, he overwrote the save, didn't he? But he's got it back to where it was. So we're all back, we're all good, we're still top of the table. Girona are still right up our trumpet. But it's alright, we've got Alexander Nubel here, a man who was recommended to me in my last episode as my keeper is getting old. As much as I love Alberto, and as much as I want to marry him, and his massive sexy legs, I am going to have to eventually replace him as he is getting to the ripe old age of 35. And Alexander Nubel looks to be a worthy replacement. I deemed him good enough and got him on a pre-contract. So we have Alberto for the rest of the season. Don't worry, he's going nowhere until we have a promotion party and he gets pissed. But for now, we're going to settle with Alexander Nubel on a pre-contract from Schalke, 77 overall, only 23 years old. Pretty good. One pre-contract signing onto an immediate signing. We have Jordan Torunariga, I believe his name is, from Hertha Berlin. Another German who will partner Alexander Nubel. This time he's coming straight into the side though. You'll have to wait for his German counterparts between the sticks. Our third signing here, we got our hands on Ryan Ait-Nouri, a French fullback from Bordeaux, only 18 years old. Got him for 3.2 million, around about that, and I reckon he's going to be one for more the future, not necessarily a couple years next season, because Luna is on loan, so is Saul, and we won't have a left back next year. But luckily I've got my hands on him. Look at him! Santi Comensagna, he's defected to Besiktas because someone paid his release clause. I think it was 6 or 8 million that we got for him. So not too bad. He definitely contributed to those signings, so I'm not too fussed. He wasn't exactly a first team player. And here it is, the big game. Girona, title chasers, going at it 1-on-1. Didn't get off to the greatest of second halves. First half was boring. Emiliano Velasquez getting a red card. I mean, there's passion, you know, and then there's just that. I mean, not ideal. And from the penalty, Alberto tries to fake out the man. We went the right way, but he squeezed it into the bottom left-hand corner. Not much you can do about that. And not much you can do about that one either. They made it 2, and that was a pretty disappointing result, and just making it even harder for ourselves in our title pursuit, as Girona will have leapfrogged us with that result. However, we would not let this demoralise us, as we have other competitions to deal with as well, the Copa de España, or the Copa del Rey without licensing rights. We faced Rayo Zaragoza in our league. Some lovely football on the right hand side leads to Garcia pulling it back for Ulloa. Deathly header from around 12 yards out, very impressive header, and that's how it would end, a 1-0 victory, not too shabby. Through to the next round of the Copa de España, getting us some funds as well in the process. All managed by that man. Man managed. Definitely meant to say that. Didn't mean to say managed. And then mess it up. But anyway, we are on to the next game of this competition. We face Sevilla, the first team we will face from a league above us, because pre-season tournaments are irrelevant, no one cares. Ever Banega captaining this Sevilla side tonight. The home fans will be riled up for this one, because you know, Girona sort of gave us a bit of a beating. Got one back against Zaragoza, we're going to have to result in putting in some performances in this competition. However, Mr. Leonardo Ulloa doing this from a 7-yard shot is not going to win the favour of the fans, my good friend. Anyway, we would go on. Ulloa nearly redeems himself with that effort. A very good shot. Thought it was going to sail into the top right hand corner. It would have been an absolute beauty. Pozo to Villar, the man who has come up in us. Wow, that's a pretty mad sentence. Come up for us in big games. Couldn't do it here. However, I'll tell you who wanted to have their say on this tie. Trejo to Bebe, the man, the myth. I mean, he's not a myth, but that was a mythical run from the midfield side, leading to a goal, a finesse. Not actually the greatest of finishes, if I'm honest, but it is going to be a goal that's going to send our fans into absolute delirium. getting 1-0 up against Sevilla. An entire league above them weren't doing too bad, challenging for European places, and Bebe has snuck it past the keeper from that angle. 3 defenders couldn't close him down, neither could the goalie, and he celebrates with the medical bench and grazes his knees, no doubt. We would go on to hopefully add a second through Leonardo Ulloa, and well, I mean, it was... age isn't being kind to him. However, this competition is. We've got through to the next round with another 1-0, very slim victory over, this time, a much better side. The fans still going wild in the background. Here is a transfer recap. 2 players that I didn't show you us bringing in on pre-contracts. We brought in Stefan Estaquillo as a midfield option, 73 rated. And we also got Benyat as another midfield option, looking to bring some experience to the side. And he'll be our first 80 overall player. Just a little something I wanted to get into the side. Real face for Benyat, not for Estaquillo, unfortunately. But Estaquillo will take over the role of Mario Suarez when he gets too old to perform. Speaking of the devil, nearly put us ahead here against Rayo Vallecano in the Copa de España. We're going on a little run here. Could maybe set something pretty spectacular up for the future. We will see. Alberto with another one of his thunderous long kicks towards Bebe. He's got Ulloa in the middle. This time doesn't necessarily cut inside, waits for the run, gets Ulloa on the edge of the 6-yard box to finish it simply and make it 1-0. And this is, we've got very, very, very kind draws in this competition. This was the semi-final against Valladolid. I assume in real life there are a lot more qualifying rounds with lower divisions. However, we jumped straight in to the round of 32 or 16, I'm not too sure. This was a 2-legged tie. Speaking of ties, they tied it up to make it 1-1. But Bebe didn't want to have any of this, the keeper saved it. But the rebound is in. Oh, Bebe, how was I supposed to know? He's done it twice. He will be paying for the corner flag damage he's just done there. But in the 90th minute, getting a late goal against Rayo Vallecano to send us through. Well, no, not to send us through, actually. There's still another leg of that fixture. Referee has given us a penalty here. Ulloa, this time going for the top left-hand corner, which is a wonderful penalty. After his previous one in the bottom left, went whiskers wide. Chose to be a bit more adventurous this time, and it paid off. Sent the keeper the wrong way. Trejo makes it 2 with a very neat finish there. Getting into a good position. Placed it wonderfully. And that would wrap up a spectacular victory over Huesca, keeping our title charge very much in reach. We headed into the second leg of our Rayo Vallecano Copa de España semi-final fixture. We are leading on aggregate, however Pozo wants to add to this lead, busting a gut and all of his internal organs in fact to get to this position, and it's completely worth it with Bebe scoring a header at the back post on the stroke of half time. They would pull one back very late on, deny us the clean sheet, however we don't really care. We're going through on aggregate 3-2. That would be it. Absolute limbs in the Vallecas ground this day, all by that man who's led you to the final. We won't go straight into that though, we're going to go back to league action for a little bit. We had Elche at home. Now this was a very entertaining fixture. They got off to the better start, heading into the lead, making it 1-0. Not very long into the game. Advincula to Martin on the wing, our little superstar, the mini-man from Spain, gives it to Ulloa and scores quite well actually. I didn't expect him to get in from that sort of range. He's not the best from outside the box, but on this occasion he came up trumps. However, so did bloody Mia, scoring that. I don't know how this went in. If only our groundsman could just spray paint the white lines across the goal a bit more loosely, we might have got away with that one. However, he was very finite with his margins and they went 2-1 up. And they were not done there. Alberto with an interesting save, and then he proceeds to run away from the ball and let them make it 3-1, giving us a real task on our hands now. Bebe plays it inside to Ait Nouri, gives it to Ulloa. His shot is saved, but Villar, the man who has now come on, looking to mount the comeback charge. 3-2. There's still time, 10 minutes left. Montiel to Advincula. A little dink into the box. Villar gets his noggin on it and it's 3-3. The comeback is complete. We wanted to push for the winner. However, I couldn't really complain, especially with that man, Juan Villar. I'm so sad that he's only on loan and we're going to lose him next season. He has been the definition of a big game player. Speaking of big games, this wasn't necessarily one, but Joa, big game player as well in the 88th minute, giving us a 1-0 win against Deportivo. Big games on that topic, this certainly is one. Real Madrid in the Copa de España final at Atletico Stadium. We are just a small town from in and around Madrid. They are the Madrid, so this would be quite the matchup. A European powerhouse, multiple time Champions League, La Liga winner, and we're just, well, what are we really? What are we to Real Madrid? Nothing is the answer to that. However, as of today, this could change. What are we to Real Madrid remains the question. I'll tell you what we are. We are the team that's beating them in the Copa de España final. Bebe gives us the lead through a Thibaut Courtois goalkeeping mistake, throws it away to Abdullah Bar, who only came into this game due to Mario Suarez's suspension at CDM. And he's played it through to Bebe. He's got a bit lucky with his footwork and managed to make it 1-0. We hung on by a thread for a very long time, and the difference in class became evident with Marco Asensio scoring an overhead kick in the 78th minute, and the thread was obviously not strong enough. And Marco Asensio managed to capitalise on a defensive mistake. Abdullah Bar, earlier the hero, now gone to 0 after literally chesting it to him. However, into additional time, could we find a moment of magic? And if so, who would the magic man be? I'll tell you who it would be. It would be Oscar Trejo, the man who's done bugger all season. Now capitalises on his chance, and in the 92nd minute of time puts us 2-1 up against Real Madrid in the Copa de España final. Absolute limbs in every end of the Atletico Madrid stadium. The Bernabeu faithful are going to be absolutely disheartened with that. Trejo with a delicate finish over Courtois, his 6'7" or whatever it is, a lanky frame, could do nothing about that, and right after the restart the referee would put the whistle to his lips and end the final. Our first piece of silverware in the career mode, with me as the manager and with that man as the captain. He'll only get the opportunity for one more this season, probably. He might retire at the end of it, I'm not too sure. He's going to wear those goalkeeper gloves, no doubt breaking his wrists carrying that by the looks of things. Sharing it with the fans. You do love to see it. The goalkeeper lifting up the Copa de España title, something that he's worked so hard for throughout this. He's a bit of an unsung hero. Obviously, we love him for his legendary goal kicks and drop kicks, but this man goes under the radar as an absolute icon of this competition, giving us our first trophy, hopefully first of many. However, back to reality. We headed back into league action with Malaga at home. Here's Bebe looking to build off his form from the final, and he continues exactly that with a thunderous, really, left foot finish into the top left hand corner. If Alan Partridge was here, I'd tell him that Bebe is now the man who possesses the foot like a traction engine, and whenever he shoots, he screams twat. A 1-0 victory at home to Malaga, no doubt making our title pursuit that little bit easier. We're getting very, very shallow, very narrow wins over the big teams and simulating against the small teams. One of the small teams was this, racing some Spanish club who were nearly rock bottom of the league. We had to win today to confirm our title hopes, and as long as Girona didn't win by like 15 goals, it would be fine. De Frutos, the man coming off the back of a 5-month injury, has managed to light up the away end of all of about 3 people in this stadium. Leonardo Ulloa, the man who cannot shoot from outside the box to save his grandkids or his kids for love nor money, has finally managed to do so with an absolutely gorgeous effort into the top left corner. That man on the sidelines is going crazy. And Ulloa again, little nanny-esque kind of chip to the back post where Ji-sung Park tried to nick it against Arsenal. This time Advincula was the Ji-sung Park, and he did successfully manage to nick it and make it 3-0. That's his first goal. And also that would be our second, not our first, our second piece of silverware as we went up from the La Liga Smart Bank as champions on over 100 points. Girona got over 100 points as well, but it was no match for this squad. These boys, the unused substitutes in the celebrations as well. For some reason, the Spanish national team badge occupying the underside of the trophy. But do we care? Absolutely not. It's shame. It is a real shame we couldn't lift this at home. However, sharing it with those 3 supporters in the top left of the stadium. Alberto lifting the trophy once again. That's 2 in about 3 weeks for that man and the squad. And for me, my managerial debut season has been a successful one, it is safe to say. As you can see, 110 points, only 1 above Girona, gaining the other automatic spot. Zaragoza, Deportivo, Sporting Gijón and Albacete would go at it in the playoffs. That'll be it for this episode and for this season. Pretty successful, it's safe to say. I'll see you in the next one in a bit.